Jim, after the game, when we were talking to your guys, especially in the back end guys, the secondary, about the second half, they talked about communication issues that led to the big plays. Can you expand on that a little bit now that you've had the benefit of looking at the tape? Was that all it was on some of those big pass plays after
Yeah, I
halftime?
mean, combination of communication and just eyes, right? Which gets you beat all the time. Right? Going into week one, you knew that it was going to be a little bit different, right? And I thought our guys handled that really well. Kind of eliminated some big issues early in the game that could have been problems. I thought our guys handled it really well. In the second half, we got stung a couple times. I thought we got late aligned a couple different times. That kind of they weren't the big plays, but they got the momentum rolling. And then you saw after that a shot go up that we didn't execute. And there's a couple calls I'd love to have back as always. Every game you second guess everything you do, but thought our guys played extremely hard, really well. I mean, there was very few plays in that whole game where you'd say any level of the defense really had too many big issues. So overall, a good performance, but just good enough to get us beat.
Jim, we talked a lot about in camp the pass rush, and you guys got quite a bit of pressure on Clifford and a couple of sacks as well. What do you think they did well in that game, and something that maybe you've got them going better at this season than they were at last season?
I think the pressure was great. Did a great job on the edge. Felt like maybe got cute a little bit too much at times because those guys were winning and winning fast, especially going back on the tape. Nick Herbig had an unbelievable game. This guy's inside. Henny, Isaiah Mullins made a huge play on a shot, got a hit on the quarterback. So was really excited with the pressure we were able to create. Obviously, Sanborn, extremely productive, getting downhill on the quarterback a couple times. So excited to see that. We talked it going into the game that it was a big emphasis for us of not only creating pressure, but creating big plays and finishing at the quarterback. And I thought we did a good job of that for the most part. Have to find more opportunities for those guys to get after the passer and make a quarterback hold the ball. They got a little bit conservative. With playing a lot of man coverage, they were taking one-on-one shots and didn't have to hold the ball that long. We did a great job for the most part in coverage, but kind of eliminated some of the pass rush at aspects of the game, just parts of the game.
I know you're benefiting from playing at home, but these early weeks in the season, how tricky is the adjustment of playing with noise, having to deal with the communication and stuff like that after the benefits of kind of playing in silence last year? And has it been trickier, particularly for maybe the younger players who hadn't experienced full stadiums?
It was definitely a different experience. It was amazing, feeling the energy, the excitement of the crowd. It does cause different issues, whether it's substitution issues or just pre-snap, post-snap communication. Our defense relies on it, and you could definitely see, especially some of the younger guys, it's hard to simulate that in a practice. And like you said, you really go over a year when that was an issue where you couldn't yell from the sideline and catch somebody's attention. So definitely a lot to learn from going from week one to week two as always. But thought our guys handled adversity pretty well and gave us an opportunity late in the game. I love the way we finished that last series and gave the offense one more crack at it and almost got it done.
Jim, one of the things you guys also talked about too is that they did not force a turnover in the game. And I know on the sack where Herbig came in, I can't tell. Did he go to try to knock the ball out on that play? Because sometimes even pro guys, they forget to do that sometimes. I mean, how much do you guys emphasize that with the backers, whoever? If they got a clean shot, they can also go to hammer that ball.
Yeah, for sure. It's a huge emphasis. He did. I think he might have went for it a little bit late. I think he went to secure the sack a little bit more than be aggressive at the ball early. Where when thought potentially could attack the ball a little bit sooner. But I mean, unbelievable play. You're getting very picky at that point of a play. But yeah, that's what we needed. He sailed some throws early, and fortunately for him, we were in more man coverage where we had balls falling at our feet and different things like that. We weren't playing with vision on the quarterback in some of those situations. And late in the game, I thought he hit a couple throws, but everything was kind of one-on-one. There really wasn't much over the middle of the field. There really wasn't much to where zone defenders had an opportunity. You saw early pumped a handful of throws. Well, those were our opportunities in a lot of cases, and he might have pumped it and then sailed it over the next guy. So just have to find a way, right? Have to find a way to create a turnover somehow, some way in a game like that. You play the way we played the first half, you look up at 0-0, you know it's going to come down to big plays and turnovers because the yards, the points were going to be difficult to come by the entire game. And unfortunately, we gave up just enough as far as the big plays to get momentum. And I think they scored on every drive that they hit a big play, right? I think they might have missed the field goal on one of them, right? So they had scoring opportunities every single time that they hit a big play, which that's college football. That's why those big plays are so important to get and to eliminate as a defense because the momentum adds up and you're fighting an uphill battle to keep points off the board.
Jim, Jack Sanborn seemed to be all over the place on Saturday, especially with partly filling that void with Leo being out and everything. How do you think he helped fill that void, and how do you think he helped lead the defense on Saturday?
He played a great game. Going into the game, we knew we were going to put a lot on the linebackers and especially that will linebacker position, just with the adjustments they were going to have to make. A little creative, a little different than what we had done in the past with some of our pressures. And we felt like we put the learning, we put the adjustments on the right guy, and obviously he handled it well. Extremely productive, run game, making tackles, and in the pass game creating pressures. So. Proud of the way he handled it, in late week adjustment, having to go from Leo to Mikey. I thought he stepped in there and did well for us. He obviously missed Leo in the production that he has, but love what Jack was able to do for us in this last game.
You just kind of mentioned it there, but how would you grade how Mike played, given the short notice of knowing he's going to start? And then why do you think it is that he's so popular among the players? You talk to him throughout camp. He's a guy that everybody seems to root for.
I think the guys respect his attitude. He's a guy who's earned everything in this program and been in a lot of different situations, had a lot of different roles, and really from a young player on, you could see kind of the natural leadership. He draws people to him. He's always taking young guys. He's always doing extra with people to help them understand what the culture is, what the standards, what the expectations are, a vocal leader. And he was that as a young player. So it's exciting to see him get the opportunity, right? Get the opportunity to get a start. And, not the situation anybody wanted, but to go in there late notice and perform the way he did. I thought he did a great job for us. As everyone on the team, he's going to be the most critical of himself. But thought he handled the big stage, and like I said, not going in, just a different approach when you're the guy all week, right? And you're kind of using that whole week to settle in to find out on Friday that you're starting the opener. That's I don't care how old you and experienced you are, you're going to get some jitters. So thought he handled it really well.
I say, Jim, you talked about Nick Herbig, but on the opposite side, Noah Burks. He had a couple tackles for loss on the stat sheet. He had some pressures coming off of a stunt from the right side to the left side. Just how have you seen him progress from even fall camp to the first week, and just what strides has he made as a player in his sixth year?
Yeah, I think the biggest difference I've seen in Noah, like we've always been able to count on him to just kind of be that rock and consistent player. And really going back as spring went on, and especially once you got to fall camp, you started to see a little bit more dynamic guy as far as playmaking ability. He's always made big plays with consistency and eyes and physicality, and just more and more throughout camp going into the season, you started to see him win some of those one-on-one matchups, win with speed, win with kind of his skill set more so than his strength, and just being sound, play in and play out. So excited to see what he can do. You look back really 2019 and try to build off of what his best game, Ohio State, where he was really flashing that, and then kind of up and down with some of the playmaking, and the consistency's never wavered. And we're really excited to see an older guy going into his last year now, hopefully become consistent playmaker for this defense.
Got time for two more, Jeff?
Jim, you mentioned about a couple times getting a line late, and that got them some momentum. There was a play I think it was the fourth quarter, They had a big hit to Dotson towards the student section. Can you run us through that? I don't know if this is an example of what you're talking about. It looked like they ran a little orbit motion, and then you guys kind of shifted over, and the guy got behind Scotty. Can you take us through why they were able to hit on that play? What happened?
Yeah, and I'm not going to go in details. I'll let you guys figure out exactly what happened. But concept that they love, you knew they run a lot of screens. We'd seen them, a lot of screens. Well, off of that comes double moves, right? They go screen and go. Just communication could have been a little bit better, across the board as the motion happened. One of those things we had seen a bunch of times during the week, spacing was a little bit different, right? So the spacing kind of caused a little bit different issue than was coming up during the week of practice, and thought our guys could have handled it a little bit better. That's about as far as I go. Obviously, it was a huge play, huge momentum, getting them down into the red zone. Did a great job of getting it on the ground, right? Get it on the ground, live to fight another day. But we would have liked to eliminate, because at that point it was obviously a huge moment in the game.
They've only played the one game against an FCS team, but what catches your attention about Eastern Michigan's offense that you need to be careful about?
I think number one, the tempo, right? They're another team that wants to play fast. The communication, the urgency to get aligned, just eliminating busts right off the bat. That's one thing they did really well. They multiple kind of with their groupings, right? They'll go 2 tight ends on the field, but move guys all over the place on top of playing with tempo. So they might make you identify a number of different things that can be challenging if you're not quick, if I'm not quick to get calls, if we're not settled in to those moments. The other things, you use 2 quarterbacks, right? So they have a quarterback who's made a lot of plays with his feet, get him in and out of the pocket and different things like that, and then a little bit more of a pocket passer. So kind of presenting 2 different cans of issues within a game. And I think skill-wise, they're more than adequate to create big plays and put points on the board. So, it's a challenge. There's no question about it. We got to get after these guys up front. I think our D-line's got to be aggressive, and our linebackers got to play downhill. And I'm excited to watch them play. But I got a ton of respect for this program. I think last year, obviously, they didn't play a Big Ten, but I think they went 3 years in a row beating a Big Ten opponent. So, you cannot overlook a team like this, because they're not going to come in here with the experience that they have and back down from this group.